Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. You know, today it occurred to me, well not today, a couple of days ago, it occurred to me I should talk about when deciding when you're going to have kids. Do you want them closer together or further apart? How do you choose? How do you know what you want? Because they both have their goods and bads, if you want to say it that way. Well, I got to experience both. I have about 4 to 5 year gap, almost 5 year gap between my first and second. And it's interesting. I mean, on the plus side, it was much easier to have her come along to all the ultrasound appointments, to, you know, tell her how everything was coming along. That part was much easier. It came with a truckload of questions, of course, but it was easier. And when baby was actually born, I had my own personal doula in training. Yes, she was the one fetching me some water or get the diaper, or that one thing that I forgot in the other room because I was changing there last night but not there right now. She was the one picking those up for me. So she was there to experience the whole thing from the beginning to the end. She was able to understand the whole process of what's happening and express her feelings better. By that, I mean she was past that whole, I don't know how to express myself, I just want to cry phase. So she was slightly more independent. She could get a few things done on her own. And I guess because she was first, or maybe at least that's how the first in my families were. Like, she would initiate to do certain things on her own. She wants to help in other things. It was really helpful. And for me, that was less stress, that I know she could wake up and brush her teeth. On the flip side of that, because they understand so well, they can feel replaced by, you know, all the attention has now gone from first to second, and have a little act up. And that's normal. Like, as a parent of with the second child, is something to be aware of, that it is gonna happen sooner or later, big or small, some version of it is gonna happen. And for me, as a new mom, and 5 years later, it felt like a lot of starting over. A lot of the information I was given when my oldest was born was completely different when my second one came around. So it was like, what do you mean I can't give him this? I don't remember what it was right now. It's been such a long time ago. Almost 4 years, you guys. Like, everything, all the nurses like, well, I'm sure you remember from your first. I'm sure you remember that. Like, no, I don't. Tell me. And then I had a little struggle with the quality of the quality time. How do you spend time with number one when you're already falling asleep from being too tired of taking care of number two? Being sleep deprived, because my second was like, yeah, it's great and all, you know, that we have a new baby, we have a family of 4 now, but we ain't sleeping. I want to eat every hour, and I want to eat for 45 minutes during that hour. Okay? So that was roughly what I experienced with that first bigger gap. And then moving on to my third, which was 20 months apart from my second one. And the good thing is, they're each other's playmates. As they're all growing, it's like a 50-50. Sometimes he prefer playing with my oldest, and other times he wants to play with my youngest. It's interesting to look at all these little changes that comes, and it makes sense, right? He's growing up, he's getting out of that baby toddler phase. So he wants to act like the big kid now. Meanwhile, it's still cool to play with the little one and feel like you're taking care of that stuff, right? They're in the same age groups for most things. So, like, I can put them in activities together. And they have the same nap time. How cool is that? And it's slightly, I found it to be slightly more economic, in the sense that when my second one was born, I had to go buy boy stuff. And boy stuff, oh my god, it's like paying for men's stuff, but baby stuff. Slightly more economic in the sense that baby was just born, so a lot of the baby items that I had for boys, I didn't care, I just transferred it over to the girls. And I'd assume it's even more economic if you have the same gender coming after, like short gap. So if you have like an older boy and then a younger boy, so, you know, just everything just slides right down. So it's pretty good. All you have to worry about is diapers, wipes, and formula if you're using. Now, the con, what I noticed is that usually once, like, one of those kids' tantrums becomes the other one's tantrum. So if my youngest starts crying for one reason or another, my oldest will be crying. Not my oldest, my middle one will be crying also. And if he started crying for a reason or another, then the baby would start crying at the same time. I was like, really? So the fact that my son was about 2, yeah, he wasn't even 2 when my last one was born. So I went through that whole phase of, you know, the 2-year-old stuff right when the baby was born. So that was so interesting. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Potty training was a challenge because he would want to go potty at the same time that baby wants to feed. And it's like, I can't do 2 things at once, like, gotta figure it out. So it was interesting. We passed that potty training stage, like I said, way before. Like, he's been potty trained and I'm not breastfeeding anymore, but you know, now it's like a different thing. They're much older, they're both like a year older than last time I talked about that. But now they walk around holding hands, or like the little one copies what she hears my son talk about. Like, she's so far advanced in her speech, especially compared to him when he was that age. It's amazing. Like, she's saying like full-blown sentences now. And it's like, how old are you? Right, you're turning 2. Huh. But as inspiring as all that sounds, that decision is only yours and your partner's and nobody else's. Because believe it or not, nobody else is gonna be here. Comes when the baby's born, or when however many babies you're having, this is you and your partner. You might have a doula. Once the doula leaves for however many hours that he or she was there, that's it. It's all you. So you can only be the one to decide that. Whatever I just said was my experience and my experience alone. Like I said before, the one reason why I decided to share my experience is because not only did I have a bigger than average family, but it's because also I don't have any family around. So none of that, my sister was watching them or my mom was watching them, or I can drop them off to the grandma or something. This is not happening for us. So whatever it is that's happening is just me or my husband. A few factors that can influence your decision is what you're comfortable with. What is your previous experience when it comes to big families, small families? What are your life goals? Things to consider. What do you want to do in general? What's your financial situation? What is your relationship about? What's your relationship with your partner? How is the dynamic between the two of you guys? What's your experience? What's your history with big families, small families? Things that you see, things that you personally want, your personal experience. And how do you feel now that you've had so many kids already? You can have as many kids as you want. What kind of support system do you have? Because you need that support. And now more than ever that I've been working as a doula, it's so crucial to have that support system before the baby comes. That way you know who to turn to. And then you can decide if you want to have an extra one, if you want to have them closer together, or if you want to have them further apart. I'm really happy that I got to experience both sides, because it was certainly an eye-opener. When I was young, I always said I have them like 3 years apart, max. Right. And you know, 3 years seems like a good gap. You're out of that tantrum, not knowing how to express himself phase, to, you know, more mellow who wants to express himself and talk and participate in conversations and help with a new baby. Get a diaper, get a wipes. You can do all of those things. Wash his hands by himself. So that was my experience, my 2 cents on the matter. If you have any input, questions, like I said, always those of you that have older kids that went through that experience like years ago, always please drop in a comment. Let me know what you're doing, or if you don't want to make it public, just send me a personal message. That's okay, I'll answer too. Please share this video with anybody who knows, who's starting a family, who already has a family. Share it. The more people, the better. And again, I'm really happy and grateful to have all of you guys watching and showing your appreciation. Subscribe to the family if you haven't already, and I hope to see you soon. Bye!